With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
Welcome.
Yo, what's good, man?
What's going on, man? This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B, man. How's everything, man? How's everything?
Everything is everything. Yeah, I have that hat also, Scott.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I do. Nonetheless, what's going on, man?
Man, I am trying to beat the heat. It is so hot outside.
It is. Hold on, before we get to the because you ain't lying. Yeah. But on this Off the Record, I'm Anthony Adebayo.
All right. Introduce myself. You introduce yourself too.
Did I?
Got that fast?
Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot. It's hot. You started to introduce yourself, threw me for a little loop, caught it. So I was like, all right, cool. And then, that's the second.
All right. Nonetheless, they obviously they know who we are.
Right.
And whatever. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, the heat. We ain't talking about Miami. It's hot, man. It's like, so here's the thing. Right? We don't really have, I mean, let me not say we don't have no sports going on. Right now, baseball is going on and the All-Star game is coming up. You know, the NFL preseason, like training camp is about to start going. But right now, as we sit here, you don't really have a lot going. Luckily, you know, the Olympics are coming up in a few weeks.
Right.
But that doesn't exclude or excuse the reason for it to be as hot and humid as it is, you know, pretty much the East Coast. I know the presidential election's coming up and they talk about climate control. Well, turn the climate down. Turn it down just a little bit.
Let me tell you, we just went through the 4th of July, and I've never heard so many folks say it's too hot to do anything. Like,
even the fireworks.
People don't want to barbecue. People don't want to leave the house. People don't want to go nowhere. People are like, I'm in the crib. Like, it's too hot. And I can't blame them. So you did touch on one thing, right? So this is the dead period. Yeah, pause. Definitely pause. This is that dead period in sports. And like you said, we're hyping the Olympics, but this is that time to where you start to get the craziest sports debates, right?
Absolutely.
So I want to bring one to your attention, and I don't even know if it's going to take the whole show or how long it's going to take. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, me and you were hanging out. By the way, you made some punch, some rum punch. I did indulge, and it was extremely good. So I don't know what you put in that punch. It's not that strong. It's a creeper, right? You know, it'll creep up on you. So, you know, salute to you for making that. Making that. I don't even know what concoction that was, but or how you configured that. But yeah, but nevertheless, we're sitting at the crib. One of our homeboys, Jamal, you know, he's no stranger to the show. He calls. And Absolutely. He says, the USA Olympic team might be the greatest team ever assembled of all time. And I said,
"Oh man, don't tell me you switching sides."
So look, I think it's worth a debate.
It is.
We have to talk about. So right now, and I want to get your opinion while I'm laying this out there, argument out, not laying anything else out there, just the argument. So you got the Dream Team,
right?
You got the Redeem Team,
right?
And
you also have Dream Team 2.
So you got Dream. Okay, so you add Dream Team 2 into this argument. Yeah. I personally wouldn't, but nevertheless, I can see how people would argue it. And then you got this team that has not done anything yet, but they were assembled basically because we got fourth place. What was it, 2 years ago? In the qualifier? Well, last year, it was last year.
In the World Championship.
Right. So they assembled a lot of stars. What are your thoughts? Could this team be better than the Dream Team or the Redeem Team?
See, this is so unfair, right? Because I have personal ties to this team.
You do,
right? This is like so unfair. But I'll say this. It is a good argument to have, but I find it hard to believe that this team is better than the actual Dream Team. Now, here's the thing. The world has gotten better, since 92. So the world itself has gotten better than it was when the Dream Team was playing. So I mean, it's gonna be hard to say that this team is better than that team. So let's go through some of the players, right?
Let me ask you this before we go through the players. Think about it. So this is how I've been thinking about it. Could this team possibly have 12 Hall of Famers on it? So the Dream Team has 11 out of 12 Hall of Famers. Christian Laettner wasn't a Hall of Famer. Might be in the college Hall of Fame, but wasn't the
correct.
Redeem Team. A lot of these players are this. I'm
gonna pull up that roster.
Okay, so I know Darren Williams, Michael Redd.
You talking about for the Redeem Team?
Yeah, for the Redeem Team. These are players I don't. Think
I thought you were talking about Dream Team. So on that team, that was 08, right? So you got Jason Kidd, you got LeBron, you got Kobe, you got D Wade, you have Carlos Boozer, Deron Williams, like you said, Michael Redd, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Tayshaun Prince, and Carmelo Anthony.
So I take Tayshaun Prince. I don't think he'll be a Hall of Famer. So we'll say 8. And I don't know. We don't have
8 Hall of Famers? Hold on.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, LeBron James,
that's
Dwayne
2.
Wade, Kobe Bryant,
4,
Dwight Howard,
5,
Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony. So you said 8, right?
I think those 8, give or take, maybe 1, right? I believe
all those guys that I named should be in the.
I think they'll all go into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
All right. So they've got 8. Now look at this roster.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk about the lots first, right? LeBron, Kawhi, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis. I said Kawhi Leonard, right?
Yeah, you said Kawhi.
All right, so that's 6 right there. Then
right there.
The guys that I think will make the Hall of Fame: Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Bam, Devin Booker. Shit, Drew Holiday might make it too. And then you're left with Tyrese Halliburton and Devin Booker. Devin Booker is probably going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So right now you've got 6 locks and 6 with a very strong possibility if they stay healthy. So at bare minimum, I think you can already say that this team will be better than the Redeem team as far as from a paper standpoint. Now, this team hasn't won a gold medal yet, and we don't know how successful they're going to be in international play. But just from talent on paper, one could come to the conclusion that this team has the potential to at least be better than the Redeem team. I'm comfortable with saying that.
Okay.
Better than the Dream.
I don't know about. I mean, we'll talk about it, but go ahead.
Okay, so what's your counter argument to that?
The Redeem team. See, you had a prime Kobe, LeBron, D Wade, Carmelo was a superstar at the time. Let me go back to the roster. I feel like when it comes to Dwight Howard I guess you could say he was in his prime as well. Also,
they're good guys. Deron Williams, Michael Redd. I feel like that whole entire team. Kobe was. I'd say. He was in the twilight of his prime. He was still in his prime, but he wasn't like LeBron. That was to me like right before he was about the Miami days. You know what I mean? That was like right when he was shouldering Cleveland, and then you got Dwight Howard. That was when he was. All of those guys, respectively, at the time, were the stars of their team.
Right.
What I like what they did with this new team is. They did a good job of merging the old guard with the new up-and-coming players and putting like tandems, right? So like you got Drew Holiday, you got Jason Tatum. Yeah, they only played together for 1 year, but that's a good representation of the Celtics. I mean, right. Yeah, some will argue that Jaylen Brown might have should have been there, but I think it kind of balances. I like what Drew Holiday brings to the team. Then you kind of look at like Anthony Davis and LeBron. Really good tandem. I'm trying to think of the other tandem.
Devin Booker and KD.
Devin Booker and KD.
I mean, but you can also say Steph and KD.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, good. For 4 years. The only player that I wish was on this team is Kyrie Irving.
Well, I feel you on that. But I think playoff Kyrie that we just saw, but I feel like some of the things he had to deal with before now, you couldn't put him on this team. But don't get it twisted. If he was on this team, this team would still be, a dominant team. So I'll say this. So we don't know what the starting five is yet. We don't know what the starting five is. But we can. That's why we're here. We can create a starting five. So I'll go first, and you can tell me if you agree or not.
Okay.
All right. So Steph.
Okay.
LeBron.
Okay.
KD.
Okay.
Embiid.
Okay.
And Anthony Davis. That's a tough start. That is a tough
start.
So now let's look at the Dream Team, the original Dream Team. So the starters were MJ and Magic and Michael. Was it Charles Barkley? I think Charles Barkley was a starter.
Charles Barkley was there, yep.
And Pippen didn't start, or did he?
Pippen did start. He started for a little bit.
Matter of fact, I ain't about to do that. I'm gonna just pull up the Dream Team starting five.
So, this is what I would do as a starting five.
Okay, real quick. Let me tell you the starters. Mm-hmm. It was Magic, Mike, Ewing, Karl Malone, and Scotty.
Okay,
those were the starting. That was the starting five.
So my starting five on this other team or this new team, I agree with Steph.
Mm-hmm.
At two guard, I'm going back and forth between Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards.
Neither one of them are going to start.
They're not, but this is what I would do. Because
Okay.
I would balance it out a little bit, right? So I would put Devin Booker, KD, LeBron at the 4, and then I would play AD at the 5.
So
Or
say that's
you know what? You know what? I'll switch that. I'll put Joel Embiid at the 5.
at the 5. So read off that starting lineup again.
So I go Curry,
Mm-hmm.
Booker, Durant, LeBron, and then I'll put Joel Embiid. I would put a bunch of shooters because if you think you got Steph at the point, but then you got Devin and you got Kevin Durant for your defense. You got LeBron, who basically he could be a 0.4 if he wanted to. Like he could actually handle the ball in that lineup, but still defend the actual 4s. And then
all 5 of them could handle the ball.
Yeah. And then you got Joel Embiid that could shoot too. I mean, you could put Anthony Davis, and then my second squad. Then that's when I'll start looking at Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday, Anthony Edwards. Forget who's the other 3 on there, but yeah, I would balance it out a little bit. I wouldn't put that much.
Jason Tatum is the other 3.
Ooh.
And you got Kawhi Leonard. But here's the thing: Kawhi Leonard ain't going here just to sit down. He ain't going here just to, I think he wants to put the world on notice because there's this stigma with him about getting hurt and things like that. There's people are questioning why is he even on the team?
So I had the same questions, and not from a talent standpoint, but I mean consistently. And you bring up a good point, right? He plays 50 games a year. 60 is a stretch, but I'm leaning toward 50 games a year. Okay. He shouldn't be doing anything that's going to jeopardize his knee. I mean, look, he'll be there. I mean, all they're going to do is do load management on his knee while he's with the Olympics.
All right, so he would tell you that he played enough games to make All NBA. He played 68 games this year.
Kawhi Leonard is a phenomenal talent, right? I don't want to take anything away from him, but if there's a poster boy for load management in the NBA, it's got to be Kawhi Leonard. Man. I mean, so who is even close to putting up the numbers that he puts up as far as load management? Is there another player that you can compare?
I mean, historically is AD, but AD played a ton of games this year too. I mean, I think AD played almost every game except for 1 or 2.
Yeah. Would you start putting Bradley Beal in that conversation? I would have to look up the numbers, but
so let me ask you: are we talking about somebody that's actually hurt, or they fresh? I mean, are they healthy and just not playing? Or we talking about people that get hurt? Because I would definitely put Bradley Beal in that conversation over Kawhi Leonard. Bradley Beal hasn't played 60 games in a season since 2020, 2021, which that's not the COVID. That's the year after COVID. Now, I will say Kawhi Leonard never played all 82. Bradley Beal did that twice. But he did that in 17, 18, and 18, 19.
So this is my challenge with those guys. Mm-hmm. And it's a slippery slope because, this is their career and they have to take care of their body and they have to think of themselves first. I think a lot of the time that they're hurt, they are legitimately hurt, but they can still play. They're just not risking playing. I think some of the players in years past would have played through some of those injuries just because, I think they figure out like, hey, why mess myself up even more, or why go out there and risk getting hurt or missing more time. So I say this, I don't know the right answer to that because, again, it's not me out there. But looking at it from a fan perspective, I think that goes into your superstar, right? So
Right.
Kawhi Leonard, as good as he is, we do have to account for that he might miss 25 to 30 games a year that you don't have him available. Same with Bradley Beal. I mean, he's going to miss a ton of time. It's tough to mitigate like somebody like Bradley Beal, and then you look at Anthony Edwards that's playing every day.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I agree. If you had to take Kawhi off, who you adding?
That is a tough one because every time I think of somebody, they either are Canadian or French. Or
I personally would add Jaylen Brown.
I was either thinking Jaylen Brown, can't add Kyrie, but if we like just excluded everything, maybe Kyrie Irving. My guy Jalen Bronson, I know he was with the qualifying team last year, and he's hurt. Well, he's hurt, so you can't add him.
Yeah. So I mean, so here's the thing. I would add Jaylen Brown. I don't really. I can't think of too many other.
What about Karl Anthony Towns?
I guess, but I'm definitely taking Kawhi over Karl Anthony Towns.
Or I want to throw a name out there, and things didn't go that well for him this season. I mean, he had a pretty good statistical year, but because of his first round exit, what about Dame Lillard?
He was on the last Olympic team, but I don't think he's done anything. That would be just a legacy choice, not
Right.
necessarily performance. Because who you gonna take off that team? I mean, even Drew Holiday, who ironically got traded for Dame, had a better season than Dame. He's been more consistent, and he plays both sides of the ball. Dame, Dame's a good player. He's a great player, but I don't know how much defense you're gonna get. And again, here's the thing: they're gonna more than likely the U.S. is gonna outrun everybody, but you're still gonna have to play some defense. France is gonna put up a fight. Where's the Joker at? They're gonna put up a fight. The Germans are gonna put up some sort of a fight. Like you're gonna have these teams. Like the world has gotten better, right? At the end of the day, the world has gotten better. I think even the Dream Team will probably struggle with some of these teams. It won't be 50-point blowouts every game. With that being said, because we kind of stared off, but we back. We're gonna reel it back in. With that being said, who do you have winning that matchup between this current U.S. Olympic basketball team and the original Dream Team? Because remember, you got a prime Mike, a prime Barkley, a prime Ewing, a prime Karl Malone, amongst others. Scotty, I don't even know if Scotty had gotten into his prime yet, but anyway, enough of that. Who you got?
It's going to be tough for me to ever go against the Dream Team.
So that's your choice as a Dream Team?
Yeah, I gotta go with the Dream Team.
I'm going with the Dream Team as well. Now I will say this: I don't like this topic. Okay, I don't like it at all. But I think that where this current team actually has a shot is one, they probably have more shooters, right? And they probably have more shooters. Joel Embiid is going to take Ewing out of the paint, which will open up for like LeBron and even Steph and KD to drive to the lane. I think what hurts this current team is the physicality. I think the physicality of Dream Team 1 will I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this team is mentally weak, but what I am saying is that Barkley would talk so much trash that, you know, he may kind of take some players out of their game. You know, not
you
saying
have a good point. You have a good point.
Yeah, I'm not, and again, I'm not saying that they're mentally weak, but the trash talk, it might have been a little different. Now you got some guys that will talk in the game, but they pull no cut cards in the 90s. And
yeah, no, you have a good point. I mean, like you look at David Robinson, you look at Patrick Ewing, you look at Karl Malone, you look at Charles Barkley. I mean, those were physical forces down in the paint that I don't know. Now, the advantage that this team has is the dream team wouldn't have matched up well with Steph Curry and the rest of the guards. They had Michael Jordan. Yeah, Magic Johnson, one of the greatest guards of all time, but he did struggle to guard shorter, smaller guards.
That is correct.
They would have had to put Stockton on Curry, which I mean, Stockton was a good defender in his own right. Yeah. Stockton was a good defender in his own right, but I don't know. I don't know who could really. Mike would have had to guard Steph. He'd have to guard him.
All right, so Dream Team 2.
Okay.
Dream Team 2, right? I believe Don Nelson was the head coach for that team. I wanna talk about this team a little bit, real quick.
So before you say this though, you got to answer this. Do you feel like that Dream Team 2 was underrated?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because that was 96, right?
No, so 94. So 96.
Oh yeah, the World Championship.
And all that, which was another good team.
That was another good team.
Yeah.
So they played in the World Championships, and when I name these names, people are gonna be like, But if you think about it, here we go. We got Derek Coleman, Joe Dumars, Kevin Johnson, Larry Johnson, Sean Kemp, Dan Marley, Reggie Miller, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Price, Steve Smith, and Dominique Wilkins.
So most of those players are Hall of Famers. And all of those players were good. Like Dan Marley, well, Dan Marley's probably not a Hall of Famer.
Right. I
would have to check. I'm not sure if Kevin Johnson is a Hall of Famer. Tim Hardaway was on that team too, right?
I don't think Tim Hardaway.
No, it was Joe Dumars.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas. Well.
No. It was Joe Dumars, Kevin Johnson, Reggie Miller, Dan Marley were the guards. Mark Price and Steve Smith. Well, Dan Marley, I guess, was playing a forward. He was
so Mark Price, hell of a ball player. I mean, is Mark Price in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so. I don't think Mark Price is in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, most people outside of our age. I mean, Mark Price was a bad white boy. He was bad.
That's who everybody chose in the video game on
he can shoot.
NBA Live 95. Yeah, you getting Mark Price? But he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he is a 4-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA.
Yeah, so Mark Price was like a poor man's Stockton.
Correct.
So that's why I think about that Dream Team 2 is you had to that was the NBA Jam era, right? You know what I mean? So most people that play NBA Jam knows all those players. Like Steve Smith, he's on fire. You know, he commentates now. We know those players. but they weren't the players that anybody of this generation is going to really, really remember unless you're a basketball head. The Dream Team won pretty much everybody on that team. People get named Dream Team 1. Like people get literally name all the players on there. Dream Team 2. I mean, Larry Johnson, he was good in Charlotte. Him and Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning has some good years with the Heat. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
Who?
So,
yes.
But Larry Johnson's probably not a Hall of Famer. Grandmama.
Correct.
I mean, he had that back injury, and I loved him to death when he played for New York. But Hall of Fame, I don't know if he gets in ever. Dominique Wilkins, I mean, he's tremendous.
Dominique Wilkins is definitely a Hall of Famer.
So look, right? We could probably argue, and I'm just going to start this debate.
Oh no.
I
don't know if we got enough time, but I'm always.
We don't have enough time, but we'll ask you this. And
Okay.
you don't have to answer it, but think about it. Do you think Dominique Wilkins was better than Scottie Pippen at the time of Dream Team 1? Not the career, but just at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
absolutely.
It's really tough to argue why Dominique Wilkins should not have been on that Dream Team 1 over Scottie Pippen. And it's really tough. And we all kind of know the story about the Isaiah Thomas, to argue that Isaiah Thomas shouldn't have been on that Dream Team 1 over John Stockton.
Correct. But who do you take off for Dominique Wilkins?
Scottie Pippen.
Hell no. Take off Chris. I would take off Chris Mullin before I take off Scottie Pippen.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, you're right. Nah, it's a no-brainer. Yeah,
hey, listen, wait. I'm gonna cherish this moment.
No. I was tripping. Yeah, you definitely take Chris Mullin off.
Yeah, I would take Dominique over Chris Mullin. Huh?
I said, you gotta take Dominique.
Yeah, so
and then the whole Christian Laettner and Shaq. That's the obvious too.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I honestly don't know what happened with that. Why I guess at that time Christian Laettner was
he was the number one college player. I mean, he was, but look, right? So this is the difference between the Dream Team 1 and the team now. So I gotta give the team now a slight edge. It was very difficult for us to think of any players that should come off the current team that's constructed now and add an improvement. With the Dream Team, yeah, it was 11 Hall of Famers, but it goes like a lot of people have opinions on players that might have got snubbed out of their original Dream Team and should have been on that team.
Yeah. So I mean, we brought up Dream Team 2, we brought up Dream Team 1, we brought up the current team, and we also brought up the Redeem Team. I'm gonna bring up one more team. I guess they were considered Dream Team 3 because this was the actual Olympic roster for and it was a home, it was the Atlanta Games. So the guys that played on Dream Team 1 that was on this team was Barkley, Karl Malone, Reggie Miller. No, Reggie Miller wasn't on that original team. Barkley, Karl Malone,
Reggie was
Scottie Pippen. Was Reggie Miller? Yeah, Reggie Miller, Scottie Pippen, and John Stockton. Those are the 5 that were on. And then you add Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, Mitch Richmond, and David Robinson was on the original Dream Team as well. So, I mean, that's a good team. That's a good team.
that team could actually play with the Redeem team and the Dream team and the team that's currently constructed. I
Absolutely.
would say that that's the most underrated.
And shout out to Mitch Richmond. Let me tell you, I got a quick Mitch Richmond story. So, I was out in Vegas covering the in-season tournament, right? It was like the Final Four and then whatever. So I know I posted before about me shooting the jumpers or whatever. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
So Mitch Richmond was out there. He was out there, cool as a fan, man. Had a full-fledged conversation with him. I think I had my Virginia State sweatshirt on. We was talking about HBCUs. We were just kicking it, right? And it was just cool that this dude, who I believe Mitch Richmond is a Hall of Famer, and if he isn't, he definitely should be. But I'm almost certain Mitch Richmond's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, but he was cool, man, and it was when they tried to pull him away, he was like, hold on 1 second and finish the conversation. So shout out to Mitch Richmond, for just being a people person, and maybe and I'm assuming my conversation was good, so that's why he stayed.
Yeah, so Mitch Richmond. So here's my thing with him. TMC, loved him when he played with TMC. Liked him when he played with them early Kings teams. I got to see quite a bit of Mitch Richmond because he was our freshman year of college. He was with the Wizards,
right?
So, and that team stunk. It was just basically like him and like Juwan Howard, and I felt bad for Mitch Richmond. Every night, it was bad. And then obviously Chris Webber, he ended up going to the Kings, and then that ended up transcending the way that it did. But yeah, shout out to Mitch Richmond. That was a ugly couple seasons that he had to endure here with the Wizards.
Yeah, it was. I know. Yeah, damn. But nonetheless, it was. He's a good ball player. Clearly, he's a Hall of Famer. But yeah, man, I would say this. There's been some good teams and there's been some terrible teams. There's been some, So I don't think this is one of them. This year, I fully expect the United States to take gold again, back-to-back Olympics. What's going to happen in 2026 though? We're gonna have some poo putts, some third guys on the bench, guys playing in the world championships, and we're probably gonna come in third, fourth, or fifth. We're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be panic. And then you're gonna have guys like Anthony Edwards. I guess Bam will still be. That's in 4 years, so Bam will be in his like 11th year or something like that. You still have Jason Tatum. You're gonna have all the superstars, coming to play. I think that what I will say, because I want to say the 2028 Olympics is in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be in LA, and I don't care what happens in the World Championships, right? Because more than likely we're not going to win gold at the World Championship. We've seen the story already. We get bored because we'll probably win, and then it's going to be like, all right, man, whatever. We'll just send some replacements out there. I hope they do take it serious and do kind of like what they did with the Redeem team and almost making a 3-year. A 3-year type of commitment that hey, look, we ain't trying to go out here and look stupid, because I personally feel like when the United States suffers in like worlds and stuff like that, it affects the NBA. It affects the NBA, and I felt like it affected this season. To me, I was like, man, I was not impressed with this past season that just happened, but. I hope they do take it serious going into LA, because there will be nothing more embarrassing than United States not winning gold and
on
on U.S. soil. That would be the most embarrassing thing for us. So,
nah, that makes sense.
We'll see. So, but we're gonna get out of here. You know, we getting close to 300, man.
Getting close.
It's 296. We got about a month, a little less than a month.
Yeah.
You know, and 300 gonna be dope, man. So yeah, man. You got anything before we get up out of here?
Nah, man.
Man, a few words.
Man, a few words. That's it.
Yeah, that's a damn lie.
Yeah.
Yo, let's just see the way Scott be yelling at me, yo. Like, yo, this man, bro, I'm gonna go to HR. I'm gonna go.
I don't believe that.
I'm gonna go to HR. You know, but nah. Yeah, man, I think we about done here. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
We out of here.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.